What's up, Blogs? All right, I wanted to read you a comment that I got on my Instagram, like a response here. And let me see if I can bring this up so you guys can see this here, because it is a fairly long one. What are we looking at here? How about, where is it? All right, I think that's it. Okay. So yeah, a little hard to read here. Let me see if I can increase the magnification. Okay. So there was this comment this guy made about, the plight of men and in terms of dating, which he's correct about this. I'd mentioned this. Basically, he said she's hard to listen to, but she's correct. Men just need the woman to be attractive. The difference between a 6 and a 10 isn't that great. A 6 gets an audience 7 days a week with most men, but a man that's a 6 is seen as a 3 or 4 by women who are used to sleeping with men who are an 8 plus. Women who are 4 to 6 start thinking they deserve a hot guy. They get stuck on their highest settings. And now the average Joes ain't good enough for the average woman in social media and dating apps at work. Okay, so that's actually not the comment that I want to read, but it's true, right? That's accurate, right? I did a whole video on this on the other channel where one of my high quality videos where I talked about this and this phenomenon and how this works. Now, the point of that is not to be bitter about this, right? This is just a reality, and it is how things are. So you have to become a better man, right? So I went on to say here, this is true. However, there's no point in getting upset and complaining about this, since this is just the dynamics of human interaction playing out in the field of society and environment today. The solution is to increase your own SMV, or sexual market value, not worry about that which you cannot control, but your assessment is correct, right? So then this is the comment that I wanted to talk about, is that he made this reply here where he said, increasing SMV has been challenging, but I'm very aware it's the only solution. I don't think women have thought this through. When men increase in SMV, they gain control. If you don't get me now, you won't get my commitment when I'm 50 plus and start seeing the results of my labor. A lot of men going to be like, where were you the past 20 years when these women ask for commitment on their clear decline? I predict a lot of men will be fuckboys into their 60s because it takes years for men to build value. So when I get there and I'm in control, why would I settle down with a woman my age? Shit is not happening. Those women would have decades to see me and other men struggling out here. So here's the thing that I want to say about this. Okay, it's not going to be exactly what you think, right? So the thing is that this just highlighted a really important concept or principle, which is this idea of cutting off your nose to spite your face, all right? Or this idea that, somehow if someone does you wrong, you need to do them wrong. And it's not even directed at an individual person. It's just at a group of people, and how it actually harms you. Like, why would you modify your actions based on holding resentment or holding a grudge against another person? And this is really I think important, right? Because the reason why I bring this up, again, most of the things that I want to talk about are based on pragmatism, right? They're practical things, right? They're not based on some morality that came down from the heavens, right? It's more about a practical thing. And the practical thing here is like, why would you ever allow how someone has treated you or some unfairness in life or how you have felt to affect your decisions for what makes sense for you in life? And so what I mean by this is, look, this guy, if he gets into his 50s and 60s and he wants to be a fuckboy and he just doesn't want to commit to a woman, that's totally fine. Totally cool. If that's what he wants to do, if he builds up his value and he finds that to be valuable and that's just what he wants, that's great. If you want to live your life that way, that's great. However, do not live your life that way because you're bitter because women rejected you when you were younger. That's not the reason to do that. That's not the reason to do anything. But I find that so many people in life are motivated. And you might find yourself in the situation as well, where you're not doing things because they're in your best interest, but you're doing things because someone did something to you. And when you do that, you're making a suboptimal play, right? Another example of this is a game, right? Sometimes people play a game and maybe they lose the game, and then in the next round, they try to take revenge on the person who beat them instead of playing the most strategically way that they can, right? I recently saw an experience with this, or had an experience with this, and I was like, this is so interesting. Like why would you sacrifice your own good in order to take someone else down? Right? It doesn't ever make sense, especially when it's an anonymous person, especially when it's a group of people, especially when it's a classification, right, of women, right? What you have to understand is that everyone is going to be doing the things that are in their best interests, right? And so, yeah, when you're 50 or you're 60 as a man, don't date women your own age. That's probably not going to happen anyway. If you're successful, you're going to date women that are in their 20s or 30s. Like that's what you're going to do. There's nothing wrong with that. Society might shame you for it. Who cares? It doesn't matter, right? That's what you're going to do if you have that ability to do that. Now, yeah, he's right in saying that. Look, maybe he's in his 20s or his 30s, and if a woman his age would then see his value and want him, then he would commit to her, and he would be with her then, and she would get that value and get that commitment. And so that's fine. But then maybe he says, well, when I get to my 50s, at that time, if I'm valuable and I'm able to sleep with 20-year-old women, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to commit to anyone. Like that's fine if you want to do that, but just don't do it for the reason of that you're angry, you're upset, you're bitter. Right. And again, I'm applying that to this specific situation, but it applies to all of life in all situations. Right. You're going to find yourself in many times in situations where you now are in a position of power, and what you do with that power is going to be really important, right? And you can't have these grudges. You can't have this bitterness that's driving you, or you're going to make suboptimal decisions for yourself, right? You know, if you get to your 50s and you want to be single, that's fine, but do you want to become a lonely, bitter old man just because you're not going to let any of these girls that rejected you before have you now? Like that, you know, in some sense, I get it. It makes sense. Like, okay, yeah, I can feel that emotion, but it is also dumb. It's also acting on your emotion instead of a principle, right? And so what I would say about this is just real simple. We won't make this video very long, but think about this. Think about this in any situation, right? Are you acting out of a bitterness, a grudge? Are you acting out of what is in your actual best interest? Because many times when you act out of a bitterness, revenge, a grudge, whatever it is, you actually harm yourself. You're not actually helping yourself, and you're not really even doing much to the other person as well, right? You're never teaching someone a lesson, right? So always think about, you know, how can you play the game best, not what has someone else done to you in the game? Because that's the wrong way to think. It's just going to make you upset all the time. You're going to be bitter. You're going to be an angry person, and you're going to make suboptimal choices for your own life. Now, if you want to make a optimal choice for your life, click the link down below. Join the Bulldog Mindset membership. We've got 200 video lessons there. I'm putting new stuff in there. I've rebooted the whole membership. It's organized super well now. We've got a community in there. Really cool stuff. Definitely check it out, and I'll see you tomorrow.